завод. Еще одна. Еще! Ёб твою мать!
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to a Conservative Confucius here. We got more breaking news for you. Russia has now been bombed, not just by the U.S., which happened later today on my last video. Sorry, I did do a video yesterday. By the way, guys, my USB extension thing that has multiple USB outlets just stopped working, and like half of my stuff was connected to it, and I finally got one. Walmart one didn't work, so I had to order one overnight. But yeah, so let's get right into the story. So right after Russia made its speech about if any allied NATO force takes part in in an attack either by missiles or by air through planes against Russia, this will be a declaration of considering all-out world war, and Russia will be within its means to use nuclear assets. That's what they said. I'm not saying this is what I believe. Putin made this statement the next day. Biden sanctioned attacks with ATACMS, ATACTMs, as well as other missiles against Russia. And this was one of the things that Russia said, no, this cannot happen. Well, they did. And then the next day, yesterday, not Boris Johnson, Keir Starmer and the British government, the UK, has now sanctioned the usage of shadow missiles and shipped a ton to Ukraine to be used against Russia. And they are now being used right now today. This is one of the most recent ones that just happened last night for the Russians. Let's get right to it and do it, guys. We opened up with that video. That was 2 of them that had gone off, and multiple more have gone as well. So let's get to it and do it. All righty, guys. Don't forget to go down there, smash the like button for me, please. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel, guys. It really, really does. So if you guys can go do that, it's just a small click. Ring the bell for notifications so you guys can get all my cool stuff. And don't forget to leave a comment for me if you guys want me to discuss any topics, whether it's culture and news, politics, whatever, let me know. Also, go check out my Discord at Conservative Confucius server and my merch store at streamlabs.com/Conservative Confucius/merch. All right, let's go check out that real quick. As you guys can see, I'm wearing my awesome new Thug Life shirt with the heavyweight material like Carhartt. It is great. It is super, super high quality. The fit, it's got a little longer on the chest area, so you can get a nice long fit if that's what you like. And as you can see here, we got our Team America shirts in the regular fit of my shirts, which is the shoulders and the logo up on there with the 13 stars. Then you also have the heavyweight version, which is the same material as this stuff. All of these come in multiple colors, whichever is best for the design. And then we also have the Thug Life with them in front of the White House. You got RFK, Trump, JD Vance, and Elon. And then in this one, you have RFK and Tulsi and Vivek. You have Tulsi and Vivek as well as RFK, JD, Trump, and Elon. So we got these different shirts. We got the Thug Life in the heavyweight. We got the Thug Life with Donald Trump, the kind of like an album cover in the heavyweight. I love the this kind of tealish color. It looks great. It goes perfect with the design that I made. And don't forget to go check out our other stuff too. We got our You're Fired classic shirts. We got our Trump in a pimp cowboy hat and Trump One shirts. You know, they know it. I know it. You know it. Trump One Save America. Trump One Get Over It. You're Fired Kamala. That one's awesome. I love that shirt. And we got our election, map shirt, as well as the Math Ain't Mathin', which is the voter turnout for the last 4 presidential elections. All righty, so let's get down to it and do it, guys. We opened up with this video. By the way, this is posted by Mikhal L. Go check him out, though. He posted this. So that's the 3rd one that's hit. We opened up with the first 2. These are American missiles being fired and UK missiles being fired at Russian cities. This is number 4. And let's see how many more there are. Yeah, this is some of the burning that happened after one of them set everything on fire. So supposedly all those are military targets, but I haven't been able to confirm that yet. If they are, then, I would say it's okay, but it's not, because Putin already said what this would cause, and we're further pushing ourselves into World War III, which I think is the stupidest thing that we could do right now. And I think it's all part of the, globalists and the deep state's plan and this administration's plan to cause as much conflict as possible to hinder Donald Trump from being able to commit himself to the problems he promised to fix for us. And I think that if they think if he's focusing on this war, then he'll be less likely to be able to achieve the border issue, to achieve the other things which BlackRock and the deep state and other big, monopolies and oligarchies want. And because if they can further mass immigration, it just helps them, the globalists too. So as you can see here, storm shadows fired on Russia by Ukraine as the UK joins the US in defying Putin. This is inews.co.uk. British-made Storm Shadow missiles have been fired into Russia by Ukraine in defiance of Vladimir Putin's nuclear threats. So they're abandoning the fact that their people and our people could be nuked to, non-existence, and somehow they're still like, let's do it. And so are the people in power in the UK and the US. Why is it that they don't care about not only the Ukrainian people, but the world? They are more happy to push us further and further towards World War III than to go to the negotiating table and work out a deal, which Putin literally just said he was willing to do with Trump to make sure that peace happens in the new year. So it's just unbelievable. Around 12 of the long-range missiles were used by Kiev's forces in the Kursk region of Russia, and that we saw some of those. And we also seen ATACMS have also been used against Russia now. And we went over in my previous video that the missile that hit Odessa, one of them was seen by a vlogger who was walking around looking at the destruction, and he found the remains of the missile, and it was a Patriot MIM-104, not the anti-aircraft Patriots. Those are the PAC-1, PAC-2, and PAC-3, and there's different versions of each of those. This is the MIM-104, not the PAC. So as you can tell, unless Russia got a hold of a Patriot missile, of a MIM-104 Patriot, I don't understand how a Patriot missile ended up landing in Odessa, causing all that destruction. It wasn't as bad as the missiles that were sent to Russia, but I mean, unless it was a failed launch by Ukraine while they were using our missiles, then that's the only other thing I can think of. It's either a false flag by Ukraine and the allies of them in the deep state and the globalists who are trying to put a false flag so they can have whatever excuse they want to push into Russia to bomb them, or Ukraine was using our missiles to try to launch it at something. It failed and ended up landing in Odessa. Those are the only two options that make sense. But we know that they blamed Russia for that missile attack. That's what's being said. So whether it's a false flag or not, they're turning it into a false flag by claiming it was Russia. And once again, I'm going to say this. I am not pro-Russia. I am not pro-Ukraine. I am pro-America, and I'm pro putting this war to end so that both sides can be safe and happy. So Putin firing new ballistic missile makes threat of global war real, Poland warns. Poland, is a good ally. They're not an ally of Russia, and they understand the danger of war, of genocide, of all that. It wasn't just Jews who were killed in the war, in World War II. It was also Polish people. Literally 1 million Polish people were slaughtered by the Germans. And if they understand anything, it's war, it's destruction, it's keeping your border and your country intact. Recently, they know what they're talking about. And if they warn us, we should be much more what's the best word? I guess vocal on telling our people in our country to prepare for an imminent war that could be nuclear in its means, and we are not doing anything. I think the American people need to be prepared for this kind of war, and we haven't done anything to prepare anybody. We just tell everyone
most evil thing
happening, bad things are happening, but we're not going to be bothered. I don't think that's true. I think if someone really wanted to attack America, the American people would panic so bad we wouldn't know what to do, and we'd hurt ourselves more than help ourselves in that process. We need to be taught how to not panic and what to do and where to go when these kinds of things escalate. So I've told you this 1,000 times. I don't agree with everything Tucker says. He can be really right. He can also be unironically dumb, ignorant, and stupid. Like when he went to the grocery store in Russia, which I mentioned in the last video. So we're going to watch this. This is true, though. This is true, what he's saying.
I think we're watching the most evil thing I've ever seen in my lifetime, which is the lame duck administration leaving the next administration with the world war, with the nuclear conflict, by allowing Ukraine, a proxy state of the United States, to strike within Russia. I think that people in Washington misunderstand Vladimir Putin, and they think he's a monarch with absolute power, which is not true. And Russian politics is complex and it's lively, and Putin is very concerned with his approval rating within Russia.
Yes and no, because when someone speaks against Putin, if they are caught, seen on camera, they do it in front of people that, will report it, they are not only put in prison, they're tortured in the most heinous of ways. I mean, it's like what we saw with the Russian or the Muslim terrorists who attacked, I think it was a theater in Russia. They deserved what they got, but it was pretty extreme. They attached, like, it was a small, I don't know if it was a car battery or what, but it was the little tiny clips, or the clips that come with a car battery. Imagine the smaller version of those little tiny little clamps, and they attached those clamps to their testicles and electrocuted them. It was very messed up, and that's what they do to their own citizens who defy them. They beat them, they cut them, they electrocute them, and he is a monarch in a way. He's more of a dictator, really, but he's also worried that people like the Wagner Group and other people who don't like him are going to take the anti-Putin sentiment of people who are staying quiet and make it more prominent throughout the society, where he will eventually not be able to hold power with fake elections, because so many people will be against him that they will immediately know, oh, this election is not just fake, it's completely bull crap. And we now know, because obviously the majority have voted against him. Now he has enough support where the fake elections can just look like they're real. And that's what he's hoping to maintain. But if anti, Putin, if anti his leadership kind of sentiment grows, it'll be harder for him to maintain power over people in his country.
He cannot appear weak. That's a huge threat to him. He feels that, I can confirm. If he can't hide attacks on him by the United States through Ukraine, either on Moscow or big civilian casualties, I think he will have no choice, in his view, but to launch like a serious response against Ukraine or NATO countries, or possibly the United States. It seems like the most reckless thing that's ever happened in my life.
For Joe Biden, or whoever's acting in his name, to do this just 2 weeks after the country resoundingly rejected governance by the Democratic Party in the administration, and on his way out as an 81-year-old man, knowing that he has about 6 weeks left in office, to just say, I know that these are massive risks, but I'm willing to take them. I'm 81. I don't really care. And then to make it so much more difficult for the following administration to do what they promised to do during the campaign, which the American people voted for and wanted, which is to resolve this war. Instead, we're risking escalation with the world's largest superpower, nuclear power, over what?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think that the only way to stop world war, where Russia, China, and North Korea attack the other people, us and our allies, is by Donald Trump signing an agreement to not extend NATO and honoring it during his presidency, like our original leaders did years ago, which I mentioned in my previous video and went over the history of that. The only way for this to happen is for him to sign some type of trade agreement as well that's beneficial for Russia, but isn't something to do with energy, because we want to become energy independent. But we need to sign some type of agreement that benefits Russia, that compromises with the war for both Ukraine and Russia, and that says that Russia, if this agreement is signed, Russia has to cut all ties in allyship with China and North Korea to become part of this agreement and negotiation. I think that's a great idea. I think he would sign it if Trump proposes it. But if they end up causing World War III and it gets out of hand enough, there's nothing Trump can do, even if he wanted to, because if it gets out of hand enough, there's really no going back. Like, it's basically, imagine this. Someone goes up to you and insults you, and you're like, whatever, it's not a big deal, turn the other cheek. But then they go up to you, not only do they hit you, but then they insult your family members or threaten your family members. And you're like, okay, well, that's a line you crossed. And no matter what you say to me now, no matter how much you apologize, you've already hit me. That was a big deal, but I ignored it. Now you're threatening to hurt my family and now whatever else. That means you can't back down. because you will look weak on the world stage. And that's what both America, Ukraine, and Russia are all dealing with right now. One does something to the other, and now the other has to do something, or else they look weak. And we need to put this to a halt and say, okay, we'll compromise with you for this, we'll compromise with you for that, and we're going to make a deal where everyone gets something beneficial out of this, and we all end hostilities and allyships with the people who are pissing the other party off. So Ukraine can't say it wants into NATO anymore, and leave it at that. And then Russia has to cut ties with China and North Korea, cut it, leave it at that. That's the way this deal gets done. Otherwise, we're just going to be pushing ourselves closer and closer to World War III every day with this kind of rhetoric and actions that are being taken by this administration at the end of its time. All righty, guys. So that's going to be it. Don't forget to go check out our shirts. They are awesome. They look great. They're super comfy, super nice, soft. So go check those out. Don't forget to go smash the like button for me. Hit that subscribe button. Really, guys, it really helps us out. We're at 7,400. We need to keep going, guys. Let's do it. All righty. Don't forget to leave a comment, too, and share the video if you guys like it. Also, don't forget to ring the bell for that, too. Make sure you get all my good stuff. Go check out my Discord server at Conservative Confucius' server and my merch store at streamlabs.com/Conservative Confucius/merch. That's streamlabs.com/Conservative Confucius/merch. All righty, guys. We'll check you in the next one. Have a good one.